Our next workshop is going to be digital culture, how and why technology changes the way we think. And we have a special speaker. Already I heard that there are some commercial for you that you have.
We have fans, so.
You have fans, okay. And a little bit about Jean Mauris. He's an entrepreneur, speaker, mentor, coach, worked for leading startups and technology companies in Latvia. I guess you're everything. So, okay, let's give a warm welcome to Jean Mauris so he can tell us what is it about technology.
Thank you very much.
You.
Hi guys, it's actually weird to see you wearing that stuff and not hearing that from speakers. It's like first time experience for me, but you hear me all right? Okay, you also do hear me all right, without like this. Okay, cool, okay. So, actually, I call it a sound check. How many of you are here like managers? Like you manage people, products, so just hire. Oh yeah, okay. And the other ones are like tech guys, right? Tech guys, how many of you tech guys? Oh, you're a manager, tech guy, you everything basically. Okay. So, just a short, the guy introduced me, but I like to introduce myself in not in a boring way, like my biography or something else. I just share like 5 numbers with you guys, just to understand who am I and what kind of person am I, and then you can trust me or don't trust me. The first number is 16 years. 16 years old I was when I started my first digital and technology business, and we were like we created our own software and we were managing ball dance competitions throughout the weekends. By that time, we were earning like a day around 8 lats. It's around like 12 euros right now. So it was like really cool experience. I was still in school, but anyway. The second number is 7 days. After I finished my school, it took me 7 days to land on my first job. And I landed in a really weird way. From like childhood, I was the guy who could draw easily, all the stuff and pretty cool stuff, but I never did it with a PC. And a friend of mine called me like right after school graduation, said, "We have a vacant position of like designer, digital designer in advertising agency. So do you want it?" I kind of, yeah, but I have no experience. You have 7 days to create your portfolio. So I took a book of Photoshop. I went through the Photoshop book in 7 days. I created my like shitty portfolio. It was at that time, but I got the job. So it was like it is the second number. The third number is 2000. It's a year of 2000 when I dropped out from high school because I decided that I want to be more practitioner, not a theoretical guy, and I founded my first company. Then that I brought later to 1 million in revenues here in Latvia. So it was one of my best decisions by that day. 3 times, that's an interesting story. 3 times throughout my professional life, I went fully bust. So I had like no money at all. I had only debts 3 times. And the recent was like a couple of years ago. And it's fun. It is fun because you are starting over all the time and you are learning something new. And 900,000 euros, that's third-party investments into my project that I'm running right now. So I fundraised a lot from third-party investors, from angels, from VCs, into different stars. So that's my story. But today, I actually running Intelligence Boutique. That's a kind of advisory agency on digital transformation and innovation for big established organizations. But our today's lecture will be structured in like 4 parts. 3 of them will be inspiring, eye-opening, and but very theoretical. Not practical, but theoretical. I mean, you do not need to do anything. Just listen and like, wow, or oh, bullshit. So it's up to you. And then we'll have 4th part. I hope we'll have time because I can speak like 4 hours. The 4th part will be practical. You will need your laptop or whatever, phone. So we'll fill the form with the online form. We'll walk through the form together and we'll fill it in. It will be easy, but by the end of that, I'll send everyone who will fill this form assessment, and you will understand what kind of assessment. So the first part is about the world we live in. I think in all those stages we heard a lot that we are living in a different world, whereas the same people like plus minus, but we are living in a total different world. And I call this world exponential world. World changed, basically changed. Forget about linear. Linear is not there. If we take a look at world population, it's exponential. And it's okay, it's like 12,000 years, but if we will zoom in into the last 100 years, it will be the same stuff, it will be still exponential. So that's how we as human beings are kind of growing in this planet. But if you will take a look at data, again, it's exponential. Big data is exponential. And with IoT, with all those sensors, it will grow like this. And we, as human beings, we have like very limited capability of working with data, right? So we should understand that, and we should allow machines to do that for us. The third thing that we are looking at is a huge increase in computing capacity. I mean, 45 years, 330 billion-fold improvement. I mean, 45 years and 330 billion improvement in capacity. I mean, in computing capacity. And it will still grow like hell, like this. But the connectivity, again, you heard about 5G that is coming. There will be 6G, 7G, whatever, how many Gs there will be in our lifetime. But the internet speed is growing again exponentially. And it will continue to grow exponentially until we won't notice that it's growing, because like it's just like crazy high, that speed. And it affects businesses as well. If we are looking at the company like 15 years ago, the growth rate of 10% was okay. Oh, we're growing 10% a year, and that's cool. Right now, it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all because we are living in this exponential world. And companies are growing like this. That's an example of Airbnb. Basically, 5 years, 353-fold growth. That's not 10%, right? That's like how many percent are there. But that's exponential world affect exponential growth of the companies as well. And if we are just practically compared to show you what linear versus exponential means, if I'll take one linear step at a time, I'll get like 30 steps ahead, right? I will take 30 steps, one step at a time, linear steps, I'll get like 30 meters forward, right? It's easy. What's the distance if we'll take each step exponential? What's the distance will be? Just like ideas, throw in. What's the distance of 30 exponential steps? 3,000. No, it is. No. It will be 26 times over the world. So that's basically the difference of the world of our mothers and fathers and grandmothers and grandfathers. They lived in the linear world where everything happening super slow, but happening still. Right now we are living in a totally different world. And that's actually the thing that shouldn't fool you. Don't be fooled by that. Because when we build our lives, our careers, our businesses, we kind of expect that we will be somewhere there in terms of progress, in terms of everything else. But actually, there is exponential growth, surprise factor. You'll be somewhere there, or your competitor will be there. And everything will change exactly in an exponential way. And that's the reality. Just like realize that. It is. It is like the world now. And we are celebrating 25 years of Elko, so I decided that I'll share my 25 years old story. So how far do we think we went from 25 years ago? That's picture taken like exactly 25 years ago. That's in my family archive, and that's my wife and her mother, and they're visiting Slovakia by car. It was 25 years ago, just like 25 years ago. Elko is 25 years ago. But they didn't have any Google Maps, any navigations, any like TomToms, whatever it is. They just had a map, and this is it. And what they did to get back from Slovakia, they took a lot of gas cans with them. They put it in a trunk. And throughout the way to Slovakia, they were hiding those in trees, in fields. Just when they are getting back, they have no idea how they can, like, if there will be possibility to refuel a car. So they hid it there, and on the way home, they kind of were searching. And that was fun for them. And that's how experience changed in 25 years. And this particular picture showing how it will change in 25 years. We are those two people there we will feel like this in 25 years because everything changes exponentially. That's exactly the point. And second part, so now we understand, okay, we live in an exponential world. What affects this exponential world? Why it is exponential? And what we can do with this? And of course, that's exactly why I'm talking about digitalization. Get digital or die. I mean it. So basically, every business, every person should become digital, or otherwise they are excluded out of the ecosystem. And this trend is just basically starting. It's just starting, believe me. We are not digital enough as businesses, as people at the moment. If you saw some keynotes from biohacking conferences, well, those guys are super digital. They have digital implant, they have digital everything, they kind of manage everything. Digital is crazy digital, but they're still not there. So I think we can do better. And there are several trends in digitalization that I want to share with you that affect this kind of exponential world and exponential growth. The first one, software is eating the world, basically. Mark Andreessen said it like, 7 years ago in 2011, and that every company should become a software company. And it doesn't mean that you should produce software. It doesn't mean that you are kind of selling software. It means that you will be using software in your business on a daily basis. Like everything will be digitalized. Everything will be, excuse me, everything will be software. And the second trend that I love the most, it's when we're talking about artificial intelligence. And I love that guy, Sam Harris. He's like philosopher, neuroscience scientist, and he has a lot of TED Talks. So just feel free to Google. He has like really great TED Talks. And one of the TED Talks was about artificial intelligence and how we can live with that. And it is inevitable. And just like to show you what does it mean, is from Sam Harris' perspective. It's like when we put like an intelligence curve, right? On the top we have the most intelligent human being. Let's assume it's Albert Einstein, right? And then somewhere here, me and you. Maybe some of you higher than Einstein, I have no idea, but like I kind of grade myself here. And then we put a chicken here. And it's kind of, yeah, here's Einstein, here's like me and you, and here's the chicken in terms of intelligence. And if we will look at this picture from perspective of artificial intelligence, of intelligence that can improve itself without us, like automatically, like using computers and computing power, then this curve will look like this. Somewhere here will be artificial intelligence and it will keep growing. And for that particular artificial intelligence, me, you, Einstein, and the chicken were over here, basically. We all, three of us, like here. Because it will develop so fast and will grow so rapidly, so you just can't ignore it and can't keep up with that. And for sure, there are many other technologies that are shaping this exponential world. Of course, IoT will change everything. Again, it's not still widely adopted, but it is on the rise. Blockchain is here to stay. Cryptocurrencies as well. We all might think that it's a bubble. It might be a bubble, it might burst sometime. But cryptocurrencies and blockchain are here to stay. So either we choose to use them, or either we choose to basically just like, it's a bubble, we don't care, just forget about that. Robotization, that's for sure. Production, everything will be robotized. Autonomous vehicles, drones, and this 5G will enable a lot of that into a wide adoption as well. When we're talking about virtual and augmented reality, that's also about like 5Gs and other content creators, and it will become a kind of common content to use and to consume. Of course, 3D printing new materials. I'm right now actually consulting one jewelry retailer, and they're actually thinking about that the jewelry business will change in the last 10 years, in the next 10 years, significantly because of new materials, new technologies that would allow to do that stuff in a totally different way. And it will lead us actually to smart everything, smart cities, smart organizations, smart, basically, factories, whatever. And what's the most crucial in that stuff? It's a third part of our conversation. It will lead, and it's already leading, to a mindset change. We, as human beings, are right now facing the problem that we have to adapt. Technology is growing so fast that we have to adapt. And to do that, we have to change our mind. That's exactly it. But before we go to that, I want to share that story. It's like not 25 years, but 800 years of competitive advantage about that device. You all know that compass, right? But the compass was invented like 300 years before Christ in China, and they did feng shui stuff. They were placing furniture in-house using compass. And it came to Europe around like 1200, but captains, they were afraid to take compass with them to the ship because it's like it's some kind of hell stuff, devil stuff. We won't use that. But the wise one, especially from Venice, they start using it from 1300, so 100 years later after it came to Europe. And they were the ones that had 100 years of competitive advantage because the adoption of that stuff, of compass, the mass adoption, was only 100 years later in 400. In 1400, basically 100 years later. And those technologies that I showed, those are compasses. Those are exactly compasses that we have as people, as businesses right now. And our choice is to like basically adopt them and get those competitive advantages, or just to ignore them and let our competitors to do that. So the third part of that, what time do we have? Okay. Third part is about mindset. So that's exactly mindset change. It changes, everything changes, and the old world order was like this. The big fish eating small ones, right? The big company eating small companies all the time, all the time. Right now, it's totally different. No matter how big are you, if you are not fast enough, you'll get eaten. Period. This is it. So right now, in the new world, it's not the big fish that is the small fish, it's the fast fish that is the slow fish. That's exactly the new world order. It's a new mindset. You should become fast, you should react, you should be proactive in terms of like business and person. And here are a couple of things, what does it mean for me, and what I'm always like trying during my workshops to communicate. It's like, first thing, be ambitious. I mean, like, not 10% growth. Who cares about 10% growth if there will be Airbnb that will grow like 350 times in 5 years? No one cares. Think about 10x. Be ambitious. Think about how you can get there, how you can get 10x. If you'll get out like 2x or 3x, that's okay. But think, be ambitious. That stuff is very punishable in the corporate world. Like, embrace failure. I know that many companies are kind of, we can't fail. We have a culture, people that do not fail. But it's about failing that exactly pushes us forward. It's about experimenting and learning. And our education system, I have 4 kids, they're going to school and then get punished on every failure. Of course, it's in our heads that we are kind of can't fail because we'll get punished for that. But don't be. That's exactly the way to move forward. The third stuff is innovation culture, and by innovation culture, I mean look beneath the water. It's especially relevant for like C-level executives or management, that what's on top of that is like your strategy is how you show that we're an innovative company, we are innovative, But what matters, actually, it's what's beneath the water. It's people, it's their relationships, traditions, it's like how they talk, communicate with each other, it's how they learn, what they do. That's what matters. So that's innovation culture, that beneath the water, not on top of it. And of course, create intrapreneurs. Intrapreneurs meaning the same entrepreneurs, but within the company. Those guys, those people will actually fuel your growth. And the only people that can fuel your growth, those entrepreneurs, they will come up with new ideas. They will think 10x. They won't be afraid of failure. That's the point. And they will help you to shape this culture out of that. And finishing that part, there is a slide. Facebook has Red Book. That's exactly the book about culture of Facebook, how do we behave, who are we for customers. And they have one page saying that if we don't create the thing that will kill Facebook, someone else will. And that's exactly when I'm talking about exponential world digitalization and mindset change. If you want to create a company that will kill your company, someone else will. And like the Kodak Blockbuster Borders Group, you all know those stories. Like the Kodak invented digital camera, and where they are? Nowhere. The Blockbuster actually was one of the biggest DVD resellers, and they thought about going digital, but then they understood it will kind of cannibalize their existing business and where they are right now. Netflix is booming, and this is it. I'm checking on time because we have a practical thing to do. We have a very practical thing to do. So, and part 4 about practicalities, and that's I call like digital transformation, like a practical guide. I mean, you are managers, so basically you know your organization, and to keep up with the trend, you should definitely keep thinking about digital transformation, like how you transform your organization to become more and more digital to meet these like challenges, like exponential stuff, like competitors growing on 10x pace, and you just can't keep up with them. And there is like a very practical and very quick framework. The framework called 5 Cs. And those are like 5 major areas for the digitalization. The first one is consumer. Second one is communication. Then we go to channels. Then we go to company. And then we go to culture. This is like it. And it's like simple, and the order is very important. Because if you put it in perspective of like your company, like building, who is on top of your company? Your customer, right? You have like this customer that should be digitalized somehow. You should get them from digital world, etc. And then you have communication, how you communicate with your customers, right? How you get them, how you support them. Then you have channels through what channels do you use to communicate to your potential customers, right? And then you have company, all the internal processes, how digital are they, and all of that stuff. And then you have culture. And the culture actually is super crucial because it starts with a culture. You can't build company without a culture, you can build a competitive company without a culture. And you being like an entrepreneur, manager, or business owner, whatever, you want your customers to go as deep as they can. So basically throughout all the layers and feel the culture of your company. And they will become a loyal customers of you. They will love you. They will share the word about you with others. And exactly it works the same way. It should be innovation should start in digitalization from within the company. Like those like champions, digital champions should start this movement throughout those layers, like through company processes, to channels we communicate, to communication methods, and then back to customer. And right now, let's go practical. I want you guys who want that. Who doesn't want, you just like feel free just to listen. We'll do the following. Just visit that link. And on that link, you'll find something like this if you're using a laptop or a phone. And what we will do, there will be a questionnaire, and we'll walk through together with you throughout the questionnaire. Everyone, who opened that stuff? Who opened? Okay, how many other? Okay. It's AUS/Elka meetup. AUS/Elka meetup. Are we there? Okay, we are there, plus minus. Yeah, you're there. So, what we will do, you will have like basic questions there, who you are, how big is your company, like your email, so we can share the assessment with you. But then we will go through all the 5 Cs and major areas on the 5 Cs, and you will have to rate every C in terms how you feel your company is performing in each particular C, in each particular like sub-C of that. And then within a week, you'll get on your email that you entered, you'll get an assessment, how ready are you for digital transformation, and what are the biggest pain points, what are the biggest areas you should tackle on the first day. That's the point, right? So let's go. Are you on the consumer rating, or are you still entering your credential, right? You're still entering. Okay, just like enter your name, no need in surname, just email, whatever it is, like your personal work, whatever. Company, you can like put any company, I don't care. You can put actual company, you can put another company, but then you will have how big is your company is very important. Here I ask you, please be precise, like how big is your company, and then you'll get to that first C, right? How many are there at first C? How many are there? Okay. Others keeping up, still there, still. Okay, you're there. Okay, you're there also. Okay. Yeah, 15 minutes. Yeah, right. Okay, that's perfect. Then we will finish it up exactly at time. So the first C, if you're there are like 5 subcategories that I want to emphasize. And I want you to rate each subcategory. I will explain what it does mean. And when you are ready, you just rate. And I'll get to the next one. So let's rate the first one, like consumer, personas, and habit. Does your company have identified personas of your customers? I mean personas card, we have like that guy and this guy we're selling and that guy and this guy. And do you know their habits, how they behave, their behavior and the context, how they're working? So just rate if you know everything and you're sure about that, 5 stars. If you just like, if you have no idea what persona is, then you just like put 1 star. If you're somewhere in the middle, just put like 2 stars, 3 stars, whatever. So that's the first thing. Second thing, content strategy. If we're talking about digitalization and digital transformation, everything is about content you deliver. That's exactly. If your company has content strategy, I mean, what kind of content you produce, when do you produce, who produce it, how do you publish it, what channels do you use that? If you have it, 5 stars. If you're somewhere in the middle, like again, if you don't have it, just 1 star. It's not a competition. Just like be honest with you because you'll get results based on your submissions. I mean, assessment results. Third thing, service design practices. I mean, do you use any of service design practices when you build your services or products, whatever? Service design, I mean, design thinking, like this double diamond, service design as itself. So you are going through the behavioral design of that stuff. If you haven't heard of it, 1 star. If you are using some of it, design thinking or whatever it is, just 5 stars. Just go there. Fourth, feedback loop, meaning how are you in terms of communication with your customers? How often do you talk to them? Is there a feedback loop? Are they answering you? Or it's like a one-way street, you're just like sending them mail shots. Okay, we have an update. Okay, we have a new product, and no one cares about that. So are you going out and talking to your customers? Do you have this feedback loop of that stuff? If you do, 5 stars. If you don't, 1 star. And the last one, NPS, Net Promoter Score. That's a super important metrics from my perspective. Basically, it means if you have positive Net Promoter Score, then you are good. If you don't know what's promoter score, then 1 star. If you are using that technique, just put 5 stars there. Okay, we are finished with that, right? We can move forward. Okay, the second part, communication. Communication, again, about like another 5 things. I'm trying to simplify like 5 C's, then 5 sub-C's under each C. So communication, we're talking about external communication. I mean like about with the customers, with your like customers when you sell them, when you support them, when you deliver the product, whatever. So how digital it is. How digital? Super digital, not digital, 1. Yeah, 5 stars. Or something in the middle. Internal communication, meaning how do you communicate with employees, with your colleagues? How do you communicate with management? And do you have like a lot of meetings, or you better do like a video conf sitting on the beach, whatever. So again, how digital are you? 5 stars or 1 star? Next one, partners communications. Many of you, and I think majority of us, we have like customers, we have colleagues, employees, and we have partners, basically that provide us with some kind of services. So how digital is communication with partners? How digitally you communicate? That's the point. Then transparency. That's very crucial in exactly our like digital age. How transparent is your communication? Here we are talking more about customers. I mean, how transparent your organization, that everyone understands, okay, we know this company because they're sharing everything, they are super transparent, we understand, we know how to reach that guy, and we know him by name, and that's that thing. Transparent, not transparent. And this like, stars are pretty subjective, and that's okay. It's your picture of your company, basically, what we are right now talking about. And the last thing in communication is trust. Are you focused on trust? Basically, are you building trust using digital stuff with your partners, consumers, or you actually don't care much about trust here? It's tricky, but like just think about that in terms of how many loyal customers do you have, how loyal are they, what's the lifetime value, how far they stay. Okay, that's about communication. Let's move forward. The third thing, it's about channels. Basically, again, 5 things. The first one is touch points. I mean, how digital are your first touch points with your customer? How you reach them? Is the touch points is a billboard on the street, or it's a TV commercial, or it's a like Facebook page, or if it's like an ebook or whatever it is? How digital your touch points are, first touch points, how you get those people on board. Second part, sales channels. I mean, when you got someone, then you should sell them, right? Business is about selling your services and products to you. So you're getting leads throughout your touch points, and then you sell them. And that's the question, how digital is your sales process? Do you need this face-to-face meeting and all this like bounce back there and etc.? Or you can do everything digitally. They have self-service portal, whatever it is. So how digital is your delivery channels? I mean, how do you deliver your services and products? Is it digitalized? Is it digital enough? Or it's not? Again, 5 stars, it's super digital. We're delivering like PDFs, whatever. Or it's not digital at all. I mean, if you're delivering real products, it again can be digital if there are no like people like packing products and going to post office and posting them somewhere. It's like digitalized. You know, you know where each box is right now, and you know if it's received or it's not. Support channels, that's the fourth thing. How digital are your support channels? Meaning, like, how do you support your customers? Digitally, or they are coming to your office and you are having a coffee with them all the time just to resolve a couple of like simple questions. How digital is the support? Again, 5 stars. Super digital, 1 star. Yeah, we have no idea. We just like the phone guys. We just giving them a call and this is it. And omnipresence, that's a super trendy right now. Omnipresence means, is your company capable to deliver experience throughout all the channels for one particular customer? Example is, I'm a customer and going into the store, I'm seeing like some kind of device I want to buy, but I want to take a time to actually think about that, and then I can continue this process on your website, and then with my wife we decided, okay, we'll buy that, and then I can finish it up on my way to work on my mobile. I mean, the same process, omni-channel, like multi-channel. Do you have that in plans, or do you have that right now? 5 stars, we have no idea what's omnipresence. 1 star. Again, it's not a competition, like, be honest, please guys. It's in your best interest. And the first one, company. The company is structured in the way is how do you think C-level is ready? Readiness of C-level of your company, are they ready for that kind of activities or for that digital transformation? Are they sending signals? Yeah, we are ready. Yeah, but we have no idea. We are a bit afraid. So rate the readiness of your C-level. Again, subjective. We think they are super ready, 5 stars. We think they have no idea about that, 1 star. Internal processes, how digitalized are they? Like all this accounting stuff, like paperwork, emails, calendars, calls, meetings, whatever. Everything that happens internally, how digitalized you feel it is at the moment. HR and talent management, how digital is that? That's a crucial part of that digital transformation, because companies about people. So how digital is that? How are you reaching out to your talents? How do you manage the relationship? How do you like keep those talents within your company? Is it digital, or it's a like person that's sitting and talking to people on daily basis all the time? Structure, I mean the structure of a company, is it like hierarchy or is it flat? How many decisions are there to actually make, how many points are there to make a decision? Do you work in teams or you don't? That's exactly the structure. So your structure is more flat, less flat. 1, more flat, 5. And the last one is outsource of non-core functions. Again, in the modern economy, you have to outsource everything that's not related to your core business. It's the only way to survive. If it's not related to your core business, you're not creating value, you're just outsourcing it. So think about like how outsourced are your non-core functions in your particular case. And the last one is culture. It's a bit tricky here. I want to rate you, again, very emotionally and as quick as possible. You're there at this slide, right? So let's go. The first one is speed with perfection. Is your company about speed or perfection? Perfection is 1. Speed is 5, right? And it doesn't mean something good, something bad. It's needed for an assessment, right? So if you're about speed, it's 5. If you're about perfection, it's 1. Next one, networks versus structures. I mean, you have structures or you have networks of people like from different layers. If it's networks, 5. If it's structure, we have like a boss and there are my employees and the boss has a boss and etc. Then it's 1. Second one, disrupting versus sustaining. Meaning, are you on your daily basis trying to sustain what you have? Sustain maybe your growth, the small one or the big one, wherever. Sustain your business, or you are thinking about disruptions. Disrupting, 5, sustaining, 1. Next one, inspiring versus specifying. Meaning that specifying is how you give a task to a person, like do that in particular, that order, and exactly as I said. Or you are inspiring people just like, we need to solve the problem, so just come up with a solution, and then we'll go from there. If you're inspiring, 5. If you are instructing and specifying, it's 1. And the last one is change versus stability. Are your company is about stability, like we are stable and we want to be stable, or we want to change? If you want to change, rate 5 stars. If you want stability and you doesn't want, but if your company is like more about stability, then it's 1. If it's more about change, then it's 5. And you can use something in the middle. You shouldn't use 1 and 5 all the time, right? You are not doing that. I hope so, right? Right? Right, okay, thank you. Some feedback required, you know. So this is it. This is it, 5 C's that can help you identify actually the bottleneck, the opportunities within your business and keep building on top of it. So thank you for those who kind of want to push it forward, to do it at home one more time. Here you go. And in a week, within the next week, you'll get personal assessments. Each of you will get an email from me personally with my kind of view of what you just like did. And thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Jean Mauris. We still have a few minutes, so is there someone who is wanting to ask a question? Feel free, you can ask a question. I will give you a microphone, and you can address the question to Jean.
You do have questions, but you are too shy.
Yeah,
right?
everyone is shy.
Baltics.
You have to ask a couple of times.
Yeah, we have a lot of people not from Baltics. You shouldn't be that shy, right? Come on. No? Okay. Pity. But I'll hang around, so if you like bump into me with questions, just feel free.
Okay. I guess everyone will ask you personally. Thank you for this test and for everyone's reply that everyone will receive in a week. Again, thank you, Jean.